For as long as horses have been ridden by mankind, the understanding of how to best do so has been debated. Many lives have been lost and a multitude of injuries have been suffered by both horse and rider across time. Rider and mount are safer when bonded by instinct. Equido technique engenders a relationship that respects the foundations of the equine form. This approach allows anyone to enjoy a magical relationship with horses. You can accomplish anything without fear, force, or even stress. Equido groundwork develops a bonded human-horse relationship. If you fall off on the trail, the horse does not run off. You are the herd and the refuge. Thus, safety is paramount. Seeking a true horse whisperer approach, this technique has evolved into close contact Equido. Abused, neglected, and troublesome horses can be reclaimed safely and quickly by any human with Equido skills. This is David Gordon. I am working in this session with a horse named Fauna. As you can see, she's rather spirited there, moving away briskly as I approach. I'm understanding that she's basically afraid of people and runs away when approached. Her owner can approach her with food and feed her and put the fly mask on, some other things, but she's been harshly treated somewhere. So she's a sweetheart of a horse, just afraid of people. All of the problems that they have are based on people. So when I first approached her, and this is the very first session with her, I'm doing a funny little hand motion, and I'm explaining that I will make that a signal for her to come when there's treats involved. Now, I'm trying to get her attention. I wanted to turn towards me, and you can see she habitually turns away. It actually gets a little dangerous because the rump's there. And that's probably what I'm saying here. The audio was kind of full of wind noise, and so, like the other episode, I'm just going to voice this over. Now you can see my slightest motions, and I'm moving in different ways, always testing, probing, if you will, her responses. And I don't want to threaten her. I don't want to just march up. I want her to come to me, and that's the fundamentals of my approach and activities here. If the horse isn't coming to you, there's something wrong with either you or the horse, and so we work with that. Now you can see me making some kind of funny motions, jumping around, hiding behind the post, and I got her attention. That's what I'm looking for. That she be in a relaxed state of affairs, and that's easy to tell by the position of her ears. Again, thank goodness horses have ears. They're like radar on their head to help us understand their emotions. Now, I use the techniques of Monty Roberts and Linda Tellington-Jones combined, basically. That is, I move the horses away like Monty Roberts. He was the originator of round pen reasoning, and he noticed that when you move the horse away, as I did just there, and I'm doing it gently, there's a round pen situation where sometimes, and you can see I have her attention. That's a factor of the round pen aspect. And I'm making my funny motions, keeping her ears up, head forward in that inquisitive mode now. She goes into habit when the human gets close, and a human with a rope. So I generally just try to move them away as little as possible. And it's kind of a rough spot here. Got to kind of get her out of a corner. Round pens are great because they don't have corners. But this is what we got, and it works as effectively. Now, she gets pissed off when she gets moved. That's what we're looking to overcome. We'd like her to just walk away easily. And again, I'm talking about her mouth motions, which you can't see here. There you go, a little bit. she's doing the licking and chewing activity that, again, Monty Roberts identified as instinctual behavior, where they want to return to the herd. There, she moved off pretty nicely. That was very good. Kind of probing around in a sense. There we go, got her attention. And then I reward her with that. I walk up and say hi. She turns away. I say, all right, if you're going to be like that, you're going to have to move. And I'll give her a chance here to see if she'll come out of it. But basically, we're using instincts, and it's probably what I'm saying here, to adjust her behavior. Getting her to move away easily, simply, without too much trouble. Now, this is an interesting little exercise. And what I'm saying right here is that you don't have to be perfect each time you try to do this, but you do have to be inevitable. And that's literally what I'm saying here, I believe. You don't have to be perfect, but yes, you have to be inevitable in the sense that you are going to have that horse move away from you easily. And so you've seen me approach with minimal threat. Bear in mind that the squareness of your shoulders to the animal versus the side of you kind of sidling up is a different approach. It's pressure and release, and I see, now moved away pretty nicely there. Now I'm walking off her quarter in a very specific location, so that I am pushing her. She gets in that corner, and here, if we can get her to just move out of it easily, that'd be nice. Here she goes. Very good. That's what we're looking for right there. Again, I'm positioned off her quarter, and here, off her quarter in the dominant horse position. Her ears are up. She's accepting this very well. And I think we'll just keep her going a little bit here. You know, she sees it's not a threat, just to walk away. We have to actually take her a little further here, I decide, and we really need to move her out Monty Roberts style. Again, it's not my first preference, but there was an aggressive act, I think it was, that we kind of missed there, where she really turned and spun. There she goes, yeah. It's unfortunate. It seems sad, you know, here's a horse that you know is scared of people and you're doing this to her, but absolutely required to move the horse away. You will instill the instinctual message that you are the herd leader and the boss in very short order, too. Unfortunately, we'll probably only have to do this once with her. Maybe a little refresher course the next time we get together, but probably not. You can see her active attention at me. That's what it was. I couldn't get her attention. She kept turning away. Yeah, she needed to be pushed. And so now we keep working. All right, here we are taking the threat off by getting low. My back's to her, and there's our licking and chewing. That's what Monty looked for. Just talking to her. I talk a lot, you know, keep the voice low and in a murmur. Now, there we go. Walking away, and she's wondering where I'm going. Instinctually, then, once that herd leadership is established, she'll follow you. And here she comes. It's almost like a yo-yo. So yeah, it seems slightly harsh to chase a scared horse, but you got to reach past that and get to their instincts. And you can do that so quickly by simply moving them away gently as possible, but firmly as required. And there we get the full attention. There we have it. So I'm talking to her, say, hey, sweetie, there you go. There's a good girl right there. I know. It's a good girl. Now, going to touch her. It's the next step. And she says, no thanks. And I say, okay, well, if you're going to be like that, you got to walk away. And no, you don't get stuck in the corner again. Keep moving. So again, offer quarter in the command position. And that's to say a little to the side and behind her, which is where a lead mare or lead stallion would position himself. So really we're offering them leadership in the sense of they know who we are and they respect who we are then. And this, the work I do will translate to all humans, some more than others. And see, there I am hiding behind her. And it makes her look around and go, where'd he go? And she wasn't quite that interested yet, so a little standoffish. Here we go to approach, first touch. First touch. If she moves away, she's got to walk. I'll give her another chance here. Try the other side. There she is. There's that attention. And we start to reward the attention, but to reward it, we have to pet her. There I go, turning around quickly. Think of the head motions a herd leader, mare, or stallion would make. And they toss their head up to chase the horses away, and we emulate that by tossing our hand with the little rope in it. There's some licking and chewing. She's softening up. And she's afraid of the rope and afraid of me. She's walking away, so if she moves away, she's gotta go away a lot. Try again on this other side. And she turns away, so yeah. And that gets dangerous. Just don't want them spinning around at you like that. Keep trying now. See if she can get curious about the rope. Take the pressure off a little bit there. Give her another chance. Coming up sideways to her. Curious mode. Look for the ears. First touch. So I'm saying, there she is. There's a good girl. Yeah, so I keep my voice low and murmur, and then we get to the withers. It's kind of the magic part of this, when you can get a horse's trust and attention with a physical reward. So there I am working with that hand motion that will be a invitation to come get a treat and just an invitation for the horse to come. And it relates to the scratch motion that she'll start to associate it with. And the second approach there. And this is where I kind of transition to the other side of my work, which involves Linda Tellington Jones T-touch, as she called it, but massaging the withers, where the mama horse would massage with their teeth. They kind of chew on each other there, and it's a way horses reassure each other. And there she is looking over at me, and then ears go back a little bit in concern. So I'm watching carefully here. This is where a horse might bite you if it is inclined to do so. But this is where we find she's just a real sweetheart. You know, she doesn't have a bad bone. She's just scared, and that's it. So easily we can work with that with gentle approaches. And here we're in kind of a pinch position as we approach her this time. And didn't quite get her attention, and still working on getting her to walk towards me. This is the second half of the instinctual training. As we push them away, they then respect us as herd leader, and because we're the thing doing that, we must be the leader. So, and you can do this with any horse. including dangerous ones. You have to be extremely careful because they'll come back at you. But the bottom line is any horse, to get command of them, you have to push them away and install that instinctual tendency, as Monty Roberts identified once again. And then we use this instinctual part where we massage the withers. Her ears come up. She's starting to decide that, oh, maybe humans aren't so bad. And she turns away and we walk away. So we are going to invert what we were just doing and make her ask us to come. See, I sidled up sideways, no threat, talking low, and I pet her there, slowly, no slapping, and work up the neck, get to the ears when you can, just to see if their head's shy. I'm actually working to get that fly mask off, so, it makes it part of it. Pretty soon I'll kind of reach around to the front of her nose and see if I can pull her towards me. Again, we're looking for reaction points at any time here. My position is very calculated. There's that head all by herself. Yeah, and say, hey, good girl. And she's like, oh no, I'm a bad girl. I would not like this human. And you see how she's turning away? Let's see if we can bring her back. And there she is. This is where you have to be kind of trusting that swing of her head in another horse could result in her kind of angling to bite you there. Got to be looking for it all the time. Whoop, that was a fly. And it's just like I was saying, so I was a little paranoid there even. All right, here she comes walking up to us. See, I walked away, I moved away, and she's like, oh no, come back. And watch her face. She loves this. Horses love this. That's how you reach them. It's that easy. And this is a horse that's essentially harshly treated. And then here I am probably explaining that to the owner more or less at this point. See how she's standing there with her hoof? That's a relaxed position. And that she's standing there like that with a human around her, it's probably for a first time. They all tend to cringe when humans are around them. And hey, you can still train them. You can get a saddle on them and put somebody on their back and all the stuff and get the bridle bit, whatever you want to use. And here we are waiting for her to come to us, and here she is. That's the magic. And this is where we have to trust and let them sniff us and get to know us. And I'm just still talking to the owner. Got my, resonant aspect. The resonation in your voice, when I get up closer to her, I put my chest right to her side, and that low register goes right through their body, and it's magical for them, and they bond with you more, and so there isn't a whispering aspect to the horse whisper thing. And it really is just talking softly and not yelling. Now, there are times you yell. It's a big joke, There are times when you use your voice to fend off a horse, or I had a couple horses that were fighting and yelled at them like they'd never heard before. And it's that leadership as I'd established already. So they're like, whoa, who's this, And it scared them. So, and they moved away from each other, and I'll get to that episode sometime. It's actually fascinating. Okay, so here we are. Let's pay attention back with Fauna. Got the fly mask off. She's like, oh, itchy. So, she's turning to us for massage and reassurance. And we'll see her face start to do some interesting things. There she is, kind of shaking off the weirdness of it. But we'll see the licking and chewing, but also that head shaking. Now look at her eyes. See all the concern over her eyes? She's like, and then the head shaking, it's relieving the stress that she's felt before with people. And, it's just keep putting the hands on. Again, this is where we go from Monty to Linda in my approach. And I've got a few tricks of my own. We'll see later on here. but just the reassuring voice, just the touch. And I'll start to kind of push on her a little bit, just to push her body around a bit. Again, this low head angle, this is wonderful because she's relaxed. Horses only put their head down when they're relaxed, and that's when they eat. And she's freely doing that with me. She probably forgot herself there and actually did that. That was a great move. I have to usually kind of get them to come down sometimes, and that's fine. That's where some treats come in, make them reach down for it. And here we are, getting those ears again, getting that attention, we call it getting their head in the right place. And you can easily see it by the position of their ears. They're curious, still trying to get her to come to me. I want her to walk behind me some more. See the soft eyes, the blinking, almost the concern. Almost made it. There. There's that first step. And the second step. That's so cool. And we'll just let that go, I think, there. And let her think about that. Probably the first time she's ever stepped towards a person on purpose. Or where she felt slightly threatened. You can come throw hay over her fence and she, tolerates their presence, but not very well. You need the ears forward all the time. It means her head's in the right space. Simply. Back with the withers. Working down the back towards the rear, looking for painful spots. We'll see response, looking for discomfort, and we're pushing her boundaries, pushing her buttons at all moments here. And in some ways, it seems like this is taking a long time, but the longer we take, the quicker it goes. In theory, pretty much, and it did happen, next time we show up, we start from where we left off with her. And we're just erasing bad habits. And that's all it is. That's probably what I'm saying here. Habituated behavior. She just turns away from people and then runs. Well, for any good reason? Well, no. Just, again, habit. So, again, trying to get the head to turn, her to come to me, but we see the softness in her eyes. She actually has to start thinking about this and shakes her head in consternation, literally. Confusion. There's kind of putting a grab on the head here. Okay, well, we start doing the inverted of what we were doing before. We're trying to pull her towards us. There we go. Looking for those steps. Again, this is a second part of the Monty Roberts theory where you become the leader and then you establish what he called join-up. Oh yeah, blowing in their nose, that's what I'm doing there. They always find that interesting. And again, we're making her head do things it's never done. She's having to actually, this is where it gets deep. They will actually form a mind, whereas they run around by instinct and habit always before. She has to actively choose not to be afraid of me because she wants to stay with me now. And I'll push buttons and I'll, grab her head and I'll start to pull it around. Okay, see, we transition from Monty to Linda. Look at my position here too. This is one of the interesting aspects of the name Equido. Like Aikido, which is the art of, it's a defense technique, a martial art, of course. And it's using the attacker's, enemy's strength and momentum, really, against themselves. So yeah, pulling that head around. But the position of my feet is away from her. So if she does spook, her feet don't step on my toes. So that's Equido 101. When you work close in work, be aware of where their spook zone is and where their feet will fly out almost in like a 2-foot radius from where they're currently standing, out to the side. So if you're in that zone, don't point your feet towards them. So you'll notice here she's not tied up, and that's actually a later stage. Once we have confidence that she understands the dynamics. Here again, we're working on her croup area, and she gets slightly annoyed as we do. You can see it makes her twitch, which is getting that relaxation, and you see the tail perks up a bit there more. And that's what I'm describing here, where they stand under, the front and back feet are close, and we want them to spread out by releasing the stress in that croup area. Basically, they're tucking their tail because they've been harshly treated. Alright, so we're reapproaching here with the halter and all. I've kept it with me most all the time, just might as well get her used to it. And if she doesn't like it, well, that's how we know and get her used to it. It's working the withers, getting her attention. She's turning naturally towards me. Quite relaxed. The ear's a little bit concerned there, perhaps, but she's learning, experiencing new things. Always cautious, seeing how she moves here. Asking her to back up a little bit and see what she does with the halter. This is a rope halter. I've made a couple modifications to it so you can attach reins. And this is the important point where you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be inevitable. I put it on her a little bit, she kind of pulled away, I let her get away. Now that's against the rules of some horsemanship approaches. I think that gets you into a lot of danger, as you are believing you have to force yourself and the horse at any given time to go into some sort of competition. It causes danger because you get into a competition with yourself or whoever told you that you always have to get it right. You just don't. You just do it again and the horse gets better. And so you can be forgiving. You can be forgiving on yourself, not having high expectations. But look at her here. Ears are forward, completely relaxed state of mind. I'm at the correct leading position. So she may have had some training on this, and she's very comfortable. Ears back a little and twitching the head. A few flies, and got a fly off her face there. But she's very trusting, and I'm just working up close, talking to her the whole time. Starting to put little micro commands on the halter. There we go. Little adjustments, and just see that she moves away from the pressure. And see if we can encourage her to follow us here, I believe. So just a sweetheart. You can see when she gets her good state of mind that she's just phenomenal. Here we go with moving her a little bit. A little pressure on the back and a little pull on the front. And she just responds beautifully. So it's almost like the hard part of this is done in a way. And really, it's taken a long time in a sense. I've been very gradual, but I scarcely think we're about 30 minutes into this here. Off the halter, off the lead rope, halter's still on. Checking now for signs of abuse. One of the common activities of harsh people is to wave their hat in the air and scare the horses away. And I want to find out if she's afraid of hats, and no, she's not, which is wonderful. So, gotta be checking on all these things. I used to wear different hats when I'd start a horse just to see which kinds they'd been the person had been wearing when they were harsh on the horse, because they'll be afraid of ball caps or cowboy hats or whichever. And here's the tail pulling ritual. You're able to put some traction on their spine. She's leaning into it a bit there, which is good on the front. And then they can get some nice extension in that lower region, lower lumbar, I guess it's actually maybe called that, I'll check. But yeah, the croup area again, we get that to relax. And we get her whole body to relax overall, just her whole mind. Yeah, I haven't tied her up. That's another step. We want to get her used to the pull of the rope, meaning to relieve that pressure on her own by stepping forward. So you suddenly tie a horse to a fixed object and you can have a real mess. So, and you can see there's her compliance, asking her to back up, getting a little annoying, throwing things around, leaning over her. She gets a little uncomfortable and backs up, and I just start again. This is how we teach them to ride. This is how we teach them there'll be somebody on their back next. Just that reaching over is an extension of all the rubbing they've done. Now, she's not leading forward, probably because she's never really done this very well before. That's it. We're looking for that give to pressure in all moments, in all ways, and probably what I'm talking about there. And look at her ears. She's even in these little exercises, which kind of push her buttons. She comes bouncing back mentally, and she just loves hanging out with us now. And she always wanted to be like this with humans, and now she is, and it's sudden. You can see the softness of the eyes, of course. We're always looking at that. And just, we haven't used any treats. Often I do, as training aids, but not this time. Hadn't needed it. If we found a specific thing, like she's afraid of ropes, well, introduce the rope, give them a treat. Introduce the rope more, give them a treat. They behave well with the rope, give them a treat. So, just reprogram. But we're not needing that just yet. Probably won't. So big hugs. This is something that came to me. So we're really I'm giving her just about as big as a squeeze as I can there. And they just love it once you've established that basis. So look at that beautiful head. She just loves hanging out now. It takes the stress out of them when you hug them, just like a human, I guess. You see how she steps forward now. Here she is. Comes right up to the slightest pressure. I kind of encouraged her with a little hand motion there. But now that hand motion means, hey, I'm going to scratch your back, sweetie. So life is good for the horse. Life is good for the rider. This is the safest way you can train a horse, and do it very quickly. We're talking about getting over her back by an extension of the rubbing and scrubbing and attention. And so basically we just set it up so that we get on her back and she's like, oh wow, that guy who can rub my back is doing even better. Well, that wraps it up for this session with our beautiful girl Fauna, and we'll come back another time and see her again soon. I want to thank our sponsors, the Fortified Hat Company, bringing a new paradigm in safety with impact deflective technology built in to the American cowboy hat. The Gordon Rocket Company. The Gordon Rocket Stove is a new rocket-type wood-fired cook stove design featuring smoke-free operation and 3 cooking options. Cut-N-Aid. Cut-N-Aid is a patent-pending kitchen safety device for securing meat and veggies while cutting, offering distance, strength, and cleanliness.